McDonald's doesn't make its real money from burgers. It makes it from something far more powerful: land. Every day, millions of people walk into McDonald's thinking they're buying fast food. But behind the scenes, McDonald's is running one of the smartest real estate strategies in business history. And once you see it, you'll never look at McDonald's the same way again. McDonald's is one of the most recognizable brands on the planet. It operates over 40,000 locations worldwide and serves nearly 70 million customers every single day. Most people believe McDonald's success comes from cheap food, fast service, and massive scale. And while those things matter, they don't explain the full picture. Because if McDonald's were simply a restaurant company, its profits wouldn't be this stable for this long. Restaurants are risky, food costs change. Labor costs rise, trends shift. Yet McDonald's continues to grow steadily, decade after decade. So the real question is not how McDonald's sells burgers so cheaply. The real question is how McDonald's manages to stay profitable no matter what happens in the economy. To understand that, you need to look beyond the menu and focus on what McDonald's truly owns. Here's the truth: McDonald's is not a fast food company. It's a real estate company that happens to sell burgers. In fact, McDonald's owns the land or the long-term lease for more than half of its locations around the world, giving it direct control over some of the most valuable commercial property on earth. Instead of just franchising the brand and hoping for the best, McDonald's positions itself as the landlord. That single decision completely changes the business model from a low-margin, high-risk food service game to a high-margin, low-risk rental game. Because when you own the land, you control the game. The franchisee is just a tenant. A very important tenant, but a tenant nonetheless. Food sales can go up or down. A new burger might flop, or a promotion might fail. But rent is consistent, contractual, and legally binding. And that's where McDonald's real, unshakable power comes from. Here's how McDonald's business model actually works, step by step. First, McDonald's identifies prime locations. This isn't guesswork, it's a science. The company's real estate division uses extensive data analysis to find the busiest streets, highways, city centers, and suburban corners, areas with long-term growth potential. They know exactly which intersections will be valuable decades from now. Then, McDonald's either buys the land outright or secures incredibly long-term leases, often for 20 years or more. This locks in their control for generations. Only after the location is secured are franchisees allowed to operate a McDonald's restaurant on that land. The franchisee does all the heavy lifting of the restaurant business. They invest their own capital to build the restaurant itself. They hire the staff. They manage daily operations. They deal with volatile food costs, local marketing, and all the customer complaints. They take on almost all the operational risk. In return for the right to sell Big Macs under the Golden Arches, they must pay McDonald's several fees. They pay a significant monthly rent for the location, which is often set at a percentage of their sales, ensuring McDonald's always gets a cut of the upside. They pay royalties on every single sale. And they pay additional service fees for branding, support, and systems. Think about what this means. Even if a specific franchise location struggles to turn a profit on its food sales, McDonald's still collects its rent, guaranteed. The primary financial risk stays with the local operator. The stability and predictable cash flow stay with the parent corporation. This is why McDonald's cash flow is so famously predictable. It's not dependent on selling one more burger. It's dependent on owning thousands of pieces of valuable land and renting them to highly motivated operators who have every incentive to succeed. And the best part? Over time, that land almost always becomes more valuable, quietly strengthening McDonald's balance sheet year after year, building wealth for the company completely independent of its food operations. This real estate strategy gives McDonald's three massive, almost unfair, advantages that compound over time. First, predictable income. Rent is stable and contractual. It's immune to the daily chaos of the food industry. A new health fad can slash burger sales overnight, but it can't slash a 20-year lease agreement. This gives the company a rock-solid financial foundation, allowing it to plan for the long term while its competitors are forced to react to short-term panics. Second, self-funding growth through asset appreciation. Land, especially prime commercial real estate, tends to increase in value. But the genius doesn't stop there. As the value of its property portfolio grows, McDonald's can use those assets as collateral to borrow money at very low interest rates. This borrowed capital is then used to acquire even more prime locations, creating a powerful, self-reinforcing growth loop. The assets themselves fund the company's expansion. It's a perpetual motion machine for acquiring wealth. And third, absolute control with outsourced risk. This is the most brilliant part. Because McDonald's owns the land, it sets the rules. But because the franchisee owns the restaurant, the franchisee takes on the most significant risks. They put up their own life savings, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to get the business running. This means they are incredibly motivated to maintain standards, follow the rules, and protect the brand. In effect, McDonald's has offloaded the riskiest parts of management and quality control onto its tenants. If a franchisee fails, they lose their investment. McDonald's simply keeps the land and finds a new, motivated operator. This structure creates an unbreakable business moat. It's not based on a secret recipe, but on the fundamental physics of ownership and finance. It is brutally effective and nearly impossible to replicate. You can't compete with a company that has insulated itself from risk while owning the very ground the competition needs to stand on. This empire-building strategy was born not from success, but from the brink of failure. It was championed by Ray Kroc, but the true architect was his financial wizard, Harry J. Sarnaborn. In the early days, Kroc's business model was simple. He collected a tiny 1.9% royalty fee from his franchisee sales. But a small slice of a 15-cent hamburger was barely enough to cover expenses. The company was bleeding cash. Kroc was ambitious, but he was going broke. The dream of a global chain was dying. It was Sarnaborn who had the life-saving epiphany. He realized they were in the wrong business. He went to Kroc and laid out a new vision. Forget the low-margin food sales. The real money was in the land. He famously told a group of skeptical Wall Street investors, "We are not in the hamburger business. We are in the real estate business." This statement was revolutionary. It reframed the entire company's purpose. Sarnaborn's plan was to become the franchise's landlord. First, they would pay rent, a far more stable and significant source of income. Second, the franchisee had to provide a down payment for the restaurant, which gave Kroc's corporation the immediate cash flow it desperately needed to expand. This insight was the pivotal moment in McDonald's history. It transformed the company from a struggling food brand into a cash-rich real estate juggernaut. It was the financial engine that funded the global expansion Kroc dreamed of. The strongest businesses aren't just built on a great product. They are built on a brilliant business model that turns risk into profit. McDonald's real estate strategy is a masterclass in building a business moat. A moat is a structural advantage that protects a company from competition, just like a real moat protects a castle. It makes the business incredibly durable and hard to attack. McDonald's moat is built from concrete and land titles, a physical barrier against its rivals. And this powerful idea of a structural advantage connects directly to another core concept we explore here on BizNest, the 4 business moats. While McDonald's built its fortress on physical assets, modern giants like Google and Facebook built theirs on digital ones. A business moat is a digital moat, where a service becomes more valuable as more people use it, creating a lock-in that is just as powerful as owning land. Understanding both of these concepts, the physical moat of real estate and the digital moat of network effects, is essential to understanding how power works in a modern economy. If you want to see the other side of this coin, watch our previous video called The 4 Business Moats. Once you see how both types of moats work together, you'll start to recognize the hidden architecture that makes the world's most powerful businesses feel so invincible.